Good morning and welcome everybody to the Lee State Office Complex. I'm Devin Strecker, Executive Director of the River District, and I'd like to welcome you to our 2024 Stakeholder Update. This is our first event of this type and the first event we're doing here in the auditorium, so bear with us if there's any technical difficulties, but we have a really great program. You'll be hearing from a few different presenters today on development projects that are happening here in the River District, including the Alchemist Public Market from Alchemist Community Development Center, the Rail Yards, Republic FC Soccer Stadium, which was just announced the other day, the Dos Rios Light Rail Station and Mirasol Village from Sacramento Housing Redevelopment Agency, the Two Rivers Bike Trail Project through the City of Sacramento, the Truxell Bridge Project, and the River District Specific Plan. And then we'll have some time at the end for Q&A. So thank you so much for being here, and thanks to our sponsors, SMUD. This event is powered by SMUD, so we're happy to bring up Director Rob Kurth from Ward 5 here in the River District.
Thank you so much. Hey, wow, it is great to be here in the River District with you all. I mean, I'm so proud that this is part of my ward. Oops, I'm pressing buttons there. That just keeps getting worse. All righty, really the most exciting part of town and all the great stuff that's going on here. So, you're in one of the largest all electric facilities at least in Sacramento County, one of the largest in the state. And we think right now it has one of the largest all electric kitchens that have been built anywhere in the country. So there's a couple, I really got three things for you real quick here. One, SMUD works very hard to be on your minds. And that's new to an electric utility. It used to be we wanted to be in the background. Nobody thought of us. Click the lights, don't wonder. That was our job, but not anymore, because we're on a mission to get to zero carbon by 2030. We think that's in everyone's economic best interest, not to mention great for the planet. And to do that, we need you to think about us. We need you when you're making a decision about your buildings, when you're making an investment decision. Heck, when your water heater at home wears out, think about SMUD. Go to our website, check out all the different offerings we have. If you're a designer or you're thinking about building a new building, be absolutely sure to talk to SMUD early. We can help you a lot, and we've got a staff of great people. Let me see some hands here, the SMUD folks. Okay, who can save you a ton of money on your project. This project, in the total budget, it's not a big deal, but it's $240,000. But what we also help them is with equipment that'll last longer, that will serve them better, make their lives more comfortable and more efficient. So that's number one thing. Think about us whenever you're making an investment decision with anything that uses energy. Next thing is the SEED program. That's our Supplier Economic Education and Economic Development Program. If you're a small business, SMUD wants to talk to you. We want you on our list of SEED vendors. We have, what do we have now? We qualified an increase of 180 new SEED vendors last year. And what's the SEED program? SMUD wants to spend its money on our customers, not on somebody else's customers. And so when it comes time to buy things, and last year we spent $100 million with our SMUD customers through the SEED program. So get on the SEED list, find out if you're qualified, get in on that. And really just one more thing. They're unaudited, but it looks like last year we were 86% carbon free in the power that we're supplying to you. Thanks. This coming year, the plan is to invest almost $600 million in the electric energy system in the community. In fact, you all are going to be the beneficiaries of a couple of new substations to feed the growing demand in this area. And the reason we're doing that is, of course, to get you to zero carbon, and we can't do it alone. We need all of you to help. So hopefully you kind of realize, and maybe you bought your last gasoline-powered car, and the next one's going to have a battery in it. And when you're making changes in your homes, think of us. And with that, I'm probably out of time, and I should give it back to Devin and probably buy him a new phone.
Sorry. All right. Thank you, Rob.
Thank you all. Thanks so much. Bye now.
Yeah. And congratulations on your recent reelection. Yeah. So now I'd like to bring up Sam Greenlee, Executive Director with Alchemist Community Development Corporation, who will be talking about their upcoming Alchemist Public Market Project. You don't have to hand over the.
Might have to switch back. My hands are a little full now. Good morning. I'm Sam Greenlee, Executive Director of Alchemist Community Development Corporation, or Alchemist CDC, to save you a mouthful. Thank you all for being here today. It's my pleasure to update you on our multifaceted community investment project in the River District, Alchemist Public Market. I'm going to be sticking to my script here because I've found that if I wander off of it, my time tends to creep upwards, so you have to forgive me for looking down. For those of you who may not be familiar with us, Alchemist CDC is a Sacramento-based 501c3 nonprofit. It's our mission to connect communities to land, food, and opportunity for a vision in which every neighborhood is healthy, equitable, vibrant, and diverse. We're celebrating our 20th anniversary this year, and we are entering an exciting new era for our organization with the development of Alchemist Public Market, which brings all of our programs together into one cohesive place. Oops, that should have been the slide for the last one, but there we go. Alchemist Public Market will not only be located at the literal heart of the River District, building on 0.84 acres at the corner of North 10th Street and North D Street, so just a little ways east of here. We also seek to become the figurative heart of the neighborhood. With the River District transforming into a neighborhood with thousands of new residents and thousands of workers, Alchemist Public Market will be a space for this budding community to gather and form its identity, while also serving as a dining and entertainment destination for residents, workers, and visitors alike. Ultimately, we are creating a space where Sacramentans from all backgrounds and experiences can gather, enjoy fantastic local fare, and celebrate the bounty of the region. We also seek to be an engine of inclusive economic development in the River District, drawing visitors, visibility, and investment to the district through several core operational priorities. That includes small business incubation, restaurant and hospitality sector workforce development, creation of affordable co-working space, investment in local sourcing and partnerships, environmental responsibility and sustainability, investments in community safety, and resources for every neighbor. So let's take a look at the, apologize. Let's take a look at the site layout, and I'll tell you more about the exciting things we have planned. First and foremost, in keeping pace with the City of Sacramento's and SMUD's 2030 Zero Carbon Plan, this is an all-electric campus, including our state-of-the-art commercial kitchen. The primary building, there we go, Building A right here. This is going to be just under 5,500 square feet with almost 4,000 square feet dedicated to what will be the largest shared use commercial incubator kitchen in the region, including 2 walk-in refrigerators, a walk-in freezer, a dedicated clean room for ice cream production, full-size scullery, and 5 large production stations, which will be able to support as many as 50 micro-food enterprise businesses at peak operations. This building will also include a public-facing social enterprise, cafe, and market. So you can see here, back of house kitchen, front of house here is the cafe and the market. The cafe will serve espresso drinks, beer, wine, and other beverages. The market component of the cafe will sell packaged value-added products made by Alchemist Kitchen incubator businesses, as well as products made by other Sacramento makers and entrepreneurs. This will be the destination to go if you're looking for Sacramento-made products from small businesses. In addition to focusing on locally made items, the market will also carry a variety of staple foods, such as milk, eggs, and produce, to allow us to accept EBT, CalFresh, and WIC benefits, a necessity for many of the over 400 residents at Mirasol Village and many future residents as well. right now we don't have a grocery store in the River District. I'm sure one will come in the future, but in the meantime, this will help fill that need. Then we have in the back here, building B. This will be a co-working building. This is our second major construction. The co-working office environment will provide a range of services from basic office equipment access, like a biz hub, to reserved desks and private meeting rooms. Alchemist Micro Enterprise Academy and Alchemist Kitchen Incubator Program entrepreneurs, other nonprofits, and other individuals and small businesses will be able to affordably and comfortably work and grow their operations in this professional space. Alchemist Kitchen and Alchemist Workforce Academy, might be new to you, that's a new program emerging. The staff and operations of those programs will also be based in the co-working building. Then we have, beyond these buildings, we have this outdoor courtyard. The courtyard allows us to expand the support Alchemist Kitchen can provide to its incubator businesses by offering them the opportunity to take their first step towards operating in a brick and mortar location. This will include on-site food pods. These are permanent buildings that are basically a small commercial kitchen with a vending window, as well as food trailers. All of these will also be all electric. The businesses will exponentially increase the diversity and accessibility of food and beverage offerings in the River District, creating a variety of affordable farm-to-fork breakfast, lunch, and dinner options for the many individuals, families, and professionals who spend time in the district. The courtyard also includes an accessible playground area, meant to be just as accessible for children who make use of a wheelchair as children who do not. And it has a direct view to the city activity park next door. So you can see just to the east is an existing park. As a side note, the park has a lot of great built-in features. And one of our plans is to have equipment on hand to loan to people to use at that park. So basketballs, ping pong supplies, cornhole, that sort of game equipment so that people can come check it out, take it to the park next door. Other features of the courtyard include bike parking and repair station, covered dining space, the flexibility to host movie nights, Kings and Republic watch parties, farmers markets, and other community events. Here are a few of our most recent renderings. On the left, you can see the overhead view of the courtyard with the food pods, trailers, and shaded dining areas. You can see the site will be equipped with solar to maximize our all-electric efficiency. We are also incorporating native trees and plants to help cool the site and contribute to the tree density in the River District and help bring that canopy from the river back into the city. On the top right, you can see the cafe kitchen building from the center of the courtyard. The wall which says Alchemist is a bit of a placeholder there that will have a large mural painted by a local artist. And it will also double as a site for our projection screens, pop-up stage if we have special events. And on the bottom right, you can see the northeast view of the market from the corner of North 10th and North B. You might be asking yourself, if you're not completely familiar, how is this nonprofit that I may have heard of for the first time today paying for this major infill project? The majority of the funding for construction and program site startup is coming from what was previously identified as SURF, the Community and Economic Resilience Fund, which is facilitated by the Governor's Office of Business and Economic Development. The other major source of funding is a US EDA Public Works and Economic Development grant, specifically focused on construction costs. A grant secured by Assemblymember Kevin McCarty from the California Natural Resources Agency, which was facilitated by the city of Sacramento, provided the funding to purchase the property a couple of years ago. The city of Sacramento also provided an early grant to move the project forward in its ideation, as well as funding for environmental and geotechnical surveys. Other private donors have helped us move this project forward, including Sutter Health with a $200,000 grant and Umpqua Bank with a $100,000 pivot grant. And the Financial Institution Collaborative through the Sacramento Promise Zone has supported this as well. Stoll Reeves LLP has provided major pro bono support in the form of legal services. Of course, as the costs of construction are expected to rise the next few months and have already risen since we first applied for these grants almost 2 years ago, we're always seeking partnership with grantors, investors, and foundations whose vision for the River District in Sacramento align with our work and mission. We also wouldn't be where we are today with this plan if it weren't for the remarkable partnership of Dreyfus and Blackford Architects. I got a text from them a little bit ago that they got hung up in a meeting and aren't able to make it in person today. But they donated over $175,000 in pro bono work, creating preliminary designs and renderings to submit with our federal and state applications. And they believed in this project since day one. Also, I'll note Dreyfus and Blackford they designed this campus that we're on today. So our project's a little bit smaller. They have pulled together a wonderful team of design and engineering experts we have here on the screen. And because of them and their work, we not only have the best plan for our programs and growth, but we have officially submitted for entitlement review as of Friday. So we're in the entitlement process with the city. Thank you, city folks. Now, with that overview kind of done, I wanted to just provide a brief update on our timeline. So as of Friday, entitlement package was submitted to the city of Sacramento. We will be completing construction documents for plan review in the next couple of months. So either December or January, getting those submitted. Obviously, you can read this timeline yourself, but obviously early next year, we'll be doing the bidding process, holding pre-construction meetings, and anticipated groundbreaking in May of next year. Obviously, construction will continue into 2026, and these should say 2026, not 2025. My apologies. But that'd be a remarkable timeline. But yeah, construction will be complete early 2026. We anticipate grand opening in May or June of that year. The earlier the better in our book, but we don't want to overpromise. So we feel safe with that timeline. Out of respect for the time constraints and other exciting updates to share today, I'll conclude with a couple of final brief notes. I'll note we didn't have time this morning to share in depth about our new Alchemist Workforce Academy, which is a workforce development program launching with the public market. It's truly incredible. I can't wait to share more updates about that. And Shannon Stein has been working to put that together. Great to reach out to her if you're interested in the workforce development work. And if you are interested in a small taste of what public market will be bringing to Sacramento, please stop by our table out back. Julianne's raising her hand. She'll be there. We have holiday gift boxes made up of products from our Alchemist Kitchen incubator businesses for sale this holiday season, and they make great corporate and client gifts. I know Lori from Bank of America here and Tri-Counties Bank have both made purchases already. Anyway, Julianne has a sample box at the table. You can take a look. We believe the success of Alchemist Public Market will help spur and further investment in the River District, while also serving as the center of a blossoming, inclusive, and thriving residential and economic corridor. We invite you to get involved in the community with us. Please do not hesitate to stop by our table, seek me out, or follow up with us for more. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam. That was wonderful to hear that update, and I'm very excited for the groundbreaking. Just a note for our audience on Zoom, we are aware that the shared screen is just the opening screen. Unfortunately, we don't know how to change that. So if you pin or spotlight my speaker screen, you should be able to see the presentation better. Now I'd like to bring up Josh Leachman with DRV. He's going to tell us about what's going on in the rail yards. You want the podium number?
Hello, it's working. Good morning, everybody. Josh Leachman, rail yards. It's interesting. I've been at the rail yards now a number of years, and you just kind of realize how hard this business is. But you have these moments of reflection where kind of parking in the parking garage, walking in through this plaza area. I took a photo, sent it to our company, and you realize how far we have come. This photo here, I think circa 1922, you see the old city incinerator. And now we're sitting in this auditorium. We're hearing about Sam and his brilliant business that he's starting, an organization. And there's been a lot of progress. And so moment of reflection, moment of celebration and acknowledgement of how far we've come. So rail yards, I won't go into the detail on this. So today I want to just a few brief updates, both individual projects as well as infrastructure that, of course, enhances the relationship between the rail yards and River District, which I should note, I think is becoming more and more intertwined. And so working quite a bit with Devin and his team on understanding that relationship and further now putting in place those infrastructure consideration to have a bit more of a seamless tie between the projects. So I won't touch base on the stadium at this point. We'll let Kevin talk a little bit about that. Kaiser is cranking. Same team that did this, Hensel Phelps, is advancing out at the rail yards. You've probably seen what they call Trailer City. I want to say they have about 30 trailers set up, probably a groundbreaking sometime early next year. But that work is progressing and dialogue with the city is progressing, and we're excited to have that come. I should say that's pretty consistent with the early visions of what that medical campus looked like. There'll be a hospital component, an MOB component, perhaps phased over some years, but nonetheless a real asset for this greater region. The AJ is the building, the mixed income, mixed use project on 7th Street that's been in construction for a long time. Unfortunately, that is the building that was vandalized, the northern portion of that. We had 5 individuals hop a fence, turn on a fire riser valve, and flood it. We were about 6 weeks from opening. It's completely demoed to studs. We're rebuilding. We'll open that up likely first part of next year, but really, really unfortunate event. The telegrapher is our next project. So hopefully that'll start perhaps sometime next year. We'll see kind of how the market goes, but a continuation of kind of the development and particularly residential development in the rail yards. Kind of moving south, the Wong Center, fantastic project, 150 senior affordable housing, really led by Mutual Housing on that and great collaboration with SHRA and the city. That's one of those kind of like this, done quicker than expected and under budget, says a lot about the teams involved. Lot 43, another residential project that we have through site plan design review, roughly 300 units. That's could be tracking at the same timeline as the telegrapher, but we're starting to kind of see that residential corridor and connection up to the River District develop. The Paint Shop live music venue, dual brand hotel and foundry, all tracking. I'll run through some exhibits later, and I'll talk a little bit about those, but those are exciting as well. Kind of now, I won't go through all of this, but needless to say, the framework for development is here. And so many times in the past, people, I think, would ask the question, why isn't anything happening in the rail yards? You would see these roads being built, but for so long, we couldn't develop. There wasn't a way to drain the site. There wasn't capacity in the sewer system. There wasn't adequate just infrastructure for circulation, but now really that is addressed. And so when you look at kind of completed by infrastructure by that should probably say 2027, it's mostly done. And so tremendous opportunity for new residential projects. This provides access to numerous parks that wasn't there in the past. Transit will be added with addition of some projects that we're doing and connection to Sac Valley Station. But of note on this, we'll start construction on a new light rail station over on the east side of 7th, proximate to the stadium. You'll see that work happening, and there'll be some communications about traffic and how to manage all of that within the area. But the 5th and 6th should be going through to the River District and completed all next year. So again, the connection between the two, the berm should be lowered down, which has been somewhat of a physical divider between the area. So really, it's becoming much more cohesive. The AJ's on the left, our next project on the right, which has a little mixed-use building up front, kind of reminded me of the Alchemist building, but we're excited to move forward on that. That'll be in that roughly 300 unit range. This is a project I'm bringing back optimistically. This is approved. It's a heavy timber office building, roughly 300 square feet. We've had some more recent, conversations about this. We had just started construction documents kind of pre-COVID, and we shelved it, and that market's obviously changed. But nonetheless, representative of the type of development we're looking to do here in the rail yards. Now, somewhat intertwined in the soccer stadium, you've probably heard some recent announcements, is kind of a entertainment venue. That is the building on the right that is known as the paint shop. And so when you think of the rail yards, it really was a manufacturing facility. Things were, assembled going really west to east, and the paint shop was kind of the finishing studio, if you will, for all the rail and related equipment that ultimately was part of the Transcontinental Railroad. And so that is the anchor. There's roughly 3,600 seat or capacity venue that's supported by about 7,000 square feet of retail, some of which is as small. There's 200 square feet kind of retail kiosks. So the relationship with perhaps like an Alchemist and finding another way to promote some local goods, that's meant to drive just really the placemaking of this entire area. But with this announcement and the relationship with the city and Sac Republic, we're going to be creating this. One of the important elements of what this is access to Sac Valley Station. When you get a project like the rail yards, typically transit is added way toward the end. But to be able to come up with a use that is catalytic and provides the northern access that you see down in here to Sac Valley Station, now people move here, work here consciously with that access to transit and start establishing those movement patterns. Here's the office building, or excuse me, the hospital. I won't go into that, but a tremendous asset for the community. And I think that's it. But again, if there's a takeaway, things are now happening. I know there's been some challenges in the economy, but the rail yards, the River District collectively is really well positioned for a renaissance.
Thank you, Josh. And now we'll have Kevin Smith, former board member with the River District, but now with Republic FC, talk a little bit about the big announcement that you probably all heard last week. So I'll turn it over to Kevin.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for making the time this morning and coming out. Just as an aside, my time on the River District Board, really enjoyed that. And I think one of the biggest things that I was involved in was hiring Devin and bringing him in to really invigorate what's going on for the River District. So appreciate everything you're doing for the district. I want to talk a little bit about the announcement, but as a foundation and following on what Josh said, this is really a foundational piece for the River District, for downtown, and the connectivity between all of that and the kind of the rising tide lifting all boats. From an infrastructure standpoint, as Josh said, the light rail station that's going to be completed, in essence, just before, right about the time that we're looking to open the stadium, is a critical component. And having that in place is a piece that helps us to move forward. I'd also speak to just in general the city's program with the parking. I actually walked out here. My office is at 5th and J. Took me 20 minutes to walk here. Took me less than 15 minutes to walk to where the stadium will be. And the opportunity where people think it's way over there. No, it's not. And as all of the barriers come down, the tie-ins go between the River District, the light rail's there, the Sac Valley Station is there, the connectivity to downtown is really going to allow us to push people to park in the existing neighborhoods. And I don't mean in the residential neighborhoods, I mean in the office neighborhoods where there are empty lots during the time that the games go on. And that then drives the opportunity for those customers that have been to the game to then be involved in what's going on at DOCO, what's involved in the future out here in the River District, and so on. So that great synergy. I think synergy is a key word for where we are right now. You know, I want to speak a little bit about where we've come as the team in terms of, excuse me, the announcement last week, and our excitement about being to the city council this evening, where we hope to get unanimous support. We hope. But, you know, our partner in this and the new majority owner of the Sacramento Republic is Wilton Rancheria. And, you know, we talk about this as the indomitable city. We're the indomitable club, and they are an indomitable community, an indomitable tribe. You know, a lot of times others have been involved in many projects around here, including previous versions with the Sac Republic. And it was always bringing somebody from the outside to try and make something happen. These are the original stewards of this land, and they have been here for generations immemorial and look forward generations. You know, they talk about their planning scope is 7 generations ahead. So if you think about, you know, what most sports teams are looking at, you've seen what's happened in Oakland with kind of the sports teams leaving. What do you want? You want to be able to say, well, I can take my kids and my grandkids to the game, and hopefully someday they'll be able to do the same. Well, Wilton Rancheria is not going anywhere. This is where they're from. And, you know, we are blessed to be able to spend time on their ancestral land here in the city of Sacramento. So that's a tremendous partnership. Kevin Nagel will continue to be in a leadership role as a managing partner in that. We have the whole team in place at Sac Republic to really move this forward, and we're excited about that. The stadium is planned to be approximately 12,000 seats. It's planned to be built in an expandable way. So this is a foundation that, you know, as things grow and change in the future, this is a stadium that could be expanded up to around 22,000 in the future if that were to come to fruition. We anticipate that it'll be approximately a 2-year build, and we are pushing hard, and we'll be running fast with our partners and all of the city departments, where we've been promised city manager level support to get our reviews quickly, to be able to open for the 2027 season. Now that's a tall task, that's a tall order from here, but we are going to be pushing to do that and to bring this to the community and to be that catalyst for the area. You know, so I want to thank the city of Sacramento. I want to thank DRV, and I want to thank Wilton Rancheria and the Nagel Group for bringing this together and allowing us to go Republic.
Thank you, Kevin. Very, very exciting news. So we're talking a little bit about public transportation. So we're going to bring up Victoria Johnson with SHRA to talk about the Dos Rios light rail station as part of the Mirasol Village redevelopment.
Good morning. It is definitely appropriate for the very first thing I say is thank you, because as I'm gazing out over the crowd, I believe almost everyone here has been instrumental in bringing success to Mirasol Village. These are our partners. You are our partners. I want to thank you. Mirasol Village, the redevelopment of the former public housing community was first visioned more than 20 years ago. It took quite a few years of daydreaming to start. And then as the years rolled by, SHRA became, I guess I'd say, an influencer. We kept talking about it, showing pretty pictures, telling people it was the greatest thing ever, all those things that influencers do, trying to convince people that what was once Dos Rios and then Twin Rivers and now Mirasol Village was not a destination of last resort, but could be a really cool place to be and to live. And finally, the idea caught on. It took, again, 5 years of daydreaming, 5 years of applying for planning grants, another 5 years of applying for funding. We're working our way towards the 20th year. It's been a really long time coming. Running through what this is, what is the thing that we have done. More than 10 years of official efforts. Again, to our audience members, planning department, we made maybe 5, 6 major revisions to our plans over the years. Thank you for allowing that. It took, originally we thought the budget was about 160 million. In fact, it was 320 million, so, close. We had 218 units of public housing that were demolished. We're putting back 427 units. They're almost all built. If you've driven by, you've seen. We have 311 that have already been leased up, and the last 116 are under construction. Those will be leased up in the coming year. Community amenities, there are 2 public parks, the River District Park and Marisol Village Park. Community garden, that's a public garden. I really want to stress anybody and everybody who's within the city of Sacramento can join that garden. Alchemist has been our partner to get the garden up and running. It is going to be operated through the, or is already operated through the City of Sacramento Parks Department. We have a swimming pool. We have a dog park. We have 7 playgrounds. And we are now constructing an early childhood education center that will serve up to 60 children ages 1 through 4. It'll be operated by another one of our community partners, which is SETA, Sacramento Employment Training Agency. It will provide both job training as well as education for the children. And then the Piece de Resistance is our Dos Rios light rail station. So here is Marisol Village, image of one of the first buildings that was built and occupied. I just look at it sometimes because it's really pretty. And this is the Early Childhood Education Center under construction. That is scheduled to be completed early next year and hopefully to open and operate for the next school year. And then this is the best I could do. I was driving by. This is the Dos Rios light rail station under construction after probably more than 20 years. I looked, I've only been in Sacramento less than 8 years, but I looked in the just old news stories, and it seems like about 25 years ago, I saw some mention of introducing a new light rail station along 12th Street. And it took a long time to get the money. And just like everything else, the price doubled from the time it was first conceived until we finally got the construction contract signed. So that station is going to be 2 years under construction. It was just started. Nature was friendly, and we haven't had the rain in October, November. So we have heavy equipment out there doing their thing. It'll be completed by the end of next year, end of 25, and then operating, we hope, by the end of 2026. And that's it. So any questions after we all speak? I'd be delighted to speak with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Victoria. Really exciting news. We're very happy to have another light rail station coming to the district. And speaking of connectivity, I would like to welcome Adam Randolph with the city to talk about the Two Rivers Bike Trail.
All right. Thank you, everybody. I've loved how every presentation today is tied into each other. I guess it makes sense. We're all coming together for a greater purpose here. For our Two Rivers Trail, my name's Adam Randolph. I'm a senior engineer with the city. I've been with the city for about a decade, and I've been working on some iteration of the Two Rivers Trail, I think, for about the past 8 years. So figure out which ways forward. Looking at the current iteration of the trail, it's part of a city vision to have a continuous river trail network. So right now we have an existing trail from Discordia Park across the river from Discovery Park up to State Route 160. We have a segment of trail going through Sutter's Landing Park. We're currently building another segment of trail from Business 80 to H Street Bridge. And then the county operates an existing trail that still in the city, so we're claiming it, from H Street Bridge to Watt Avenue. What we are working on right now is basically filling in the gaps. So we are trying to fill in a gap, or a small gap at the left at the railroad, crossing near Business 80 Bridge, and a much larger gap going from 28th Street all the way into the River District here. So looking at that, specifically for our Phase 3 trail, we have a very solid plan right now for what we're calling the East Crossing on this map. And what that is, again, is it's a railroad crossing. I can't say just a, because crossing a railroad is about the hardest thing you can do from a transportation standpoint. But we have a very optimistic agreement, I will say, with the railroad right now, that we are going to be able to get that through just as soon as they do some of their own upgrades on the tracks. Our more challenging part is what we'll call the west segments on here. This is the phase 3 trail, and I'm already going to talk about a phase 4 project. In that we are looking at yet another railroad crossing, and that's what you see in the green on here, and also somehow crossing State Route 160, which I think everybody that works in the River District recognizes what a challenge crossing State Route 160 is. So I'm just going into this with the concept already developed that we are going to have to cross the railroad. That's most likely going to be an overcrossing. That's going to be a future project because that's going to be a very expensive undertaking. Same thing, we are looking at how to cross State Route 160. We're looking at crossing under the highway somehow in the future. That again is a very long-term project since those bridges are very challenging to work with. But for today, we're going to be looking at what we're calling West Segment A and West Segment C and how to work through these as an interim condition. So starting off, we developed a lot of concepts. We reached out to as many interested parties as we can or could. We've had multiple on-site meetings. We've had the most successful community survey I've ever actually seen working on transportation projects, with over 400 people responding to it. And we've actually received very consistent feedback on all of the alternatives that we've looked at. So going first into what I believe what we called West Segment C, but the east side of the railroad, going through Sutter's Landing Park. What we're looking at is essentially tying into the existing trail that we have out there. We're going to take a trail down a street and basically create a nature loop trail right now. The plan for that being that preferred alignment line that we're showing is going to be able to tie right into our future railroad crossing that we're planning. So for now, it creates more use in the park. It opens it up. It gets more people able to enjoy that amenity, more people with eyes on the entire area, but will tie right into future improvements. With the western portion of the trail tying into the River District, what we are looking at again is an interim condition. I'm showing the green line on here because we all know that's what we want for our continuous river trail. We are working on that. We're not going to stop working on that. But for now, we want to make sure that we have a way for people to get through the River District easily and safely. And what we're doing for that is basically taking advantage of the North 12th Street Class 4 bikeway that was installed recently. Oddly enough, tying it right into the Dos Rios light rail station. We are looking at going down Basler Street, which has a signal on North 16th Street. We're figuring out what type of improvements we can do at that signal to make for a safer, more contiguous crossing, something that's a little bit more, becomes a little bit more natural than the current kind of unmarked route that you would have to take through the district, and tie right into North 12th Street at Sproul, where there's already going to be an improved crossing with the light rail station, where there's already an improved bikeway with the cycle track, and creating just that desired route to somehow get across 160, even though we're not able to get that dream crossing in just yet. So as far as our timelines go for this project, I will be upfront and say we are still seeking construction funding, although we think this is a very fundable project. We are currently working through our feasibility and preliminary engineering. I think we're reviewing the feasibility analysis right now. That's going to roll right into our environmental and technical studies. And our intention is to clear the environmental analysis for the entire project right now. So when we do get to those phase 4 projects, we don't have to go and reinvent that wheel. We are looking at finishing our design in probably spring of 26. In between now and then, we're hoping to start applying for grants. So come summer of 26, we will be able to hit the ground and get all of this constructed. Just wanted to highlight, I pointed out that our trail is going right through a large part of Sutter's Landing Park. The Parks Department is currently working on a master plan update for Sutter's Landing Park. They're holding an open house on the 12th at the Clooney Center in McKinley Park. We will have a table set up there. Anybody who wants to attend and see more is welcome to come by, say hi. And with that, I will be sticking around. So if there's any questions following presentations, I'll be happy to come up.
Awesome. And continuing the connectivity and transportation theme, we'll bring up Sparky Harris with the City of Sacramento to just talk about the Truxell Bridge concept and feasibility study. You want this one or the one?
Check, check.
It's forward on the right side.
I'm really tempted to do a Sac Republic chant right now, but I won't. For those who don't know me, I'm Sparky Harris. I'm a principal planner with the Public Works Department in the City of Sacramento. And I know we're going a little long on time, so I'm going to keep this short. I just want to give you an update on the Truxell Bridge concept and feasibility study that we've been working on for a little over a year now. So just to start with, we are very, very early in the process. The feasibility study is something we started in 2023. We're about to wrap up and go to council, hopefully at the end of January. We still have a long road to go. Right now, we are seeking funding. We've got some matching funds, and we're seeking a grant to go into the next phase, which would be preliminary engineering and environmental documentation. And we think we're going to be extremely competitive for that, but more to come. Oh, but I should point out, it is a pretty long process. Once we get through environmental design and construction, we're still looking at about 2037 for opening. So when I go to public meetings and people get this concept that we're going to open the bridge next year, we've got a long way to go. So why are we even doing a bridge in the first place? We did a study back in 2013 and took it to council, basically laying out the issues that we have with the lack of crossings in the Lower American River. All of these were things that really resonated with the council in terms of the lack of a crossing, creating barriers to economic development, the emergency response times, as well as connectivity down into the parkway itself were some of the key issues that we were trying to overcome. And in terms of transportation, since that's primarily what I do, it just didn't make sense that you have origins and destinations that as the crow fly are very close, but because you're relegated to either I-5 or State Route 160, if you're in a car, you're not going to walk, you're not going to bike, you're going to consume more fuel, you're going to pollute the air more because those other options really aren't viable for you. It did it again. I swear, every time I do this, it rotates my images. But just to give you a perspective of what your options are today, if you were trying to get from one side of the Lower American River to the other, these really are the four options you have between the confluence and State Route 160-ish. The Jaboom Street Bridge is beautiful. It's very pedestrian and bicycle oriented. It's prone to flooding during the winters. I-5, legally, you can ride a bike on it. If there's no other viable option, I wouldn't suggest it, but that is something that you can do. State Route 160, if you turn your head, you can see that person there is actually walking on, I wouldn't call it a sidewalk. It's more of an extended curb. I believe it's about 14 inches wide. Again, wouldn't suggest that you walk or bike on that. And there's also Pipes Bridge, which I've taken to get to Republic games on my bike. It is accessible. The landing in the parkway also is subject to seasonal flooding. So made sense that we had another alternative. So back in 2013, when we went to council, we did a lot of public outreach. And ultimately, what council voted to support was the enhancement of two existing bridges. That would be number 2 and number 8, State Route 160 and I-5, to add bicycle and pedestrian amenities to those bridges. But those are not our bridges. Those are both state Caltrans bridges. But the only new crossing that they supported was number 3, which aligned with Truxell Bridge and was also the alignment that was chosen for RT to take their light rail up to potentially the airport. Just to make it very clear, council supported a neighborhood-friendly all modes bridge. I've been to too many community meetings now where the first question they ask is, why does the bridge have to have cars? From my perspective, the bridge has to have cars because council told me to put cars on it. That's what we brought to them. That's what they supported. They can reopen that conversation if they'd like, but my marching orders are to get an all modes bridge over the river. These are the subject matter components that Dock Engineering is working on for us right now, and we're wrapping up all of those, and I'll tell you about the conclusion of that very soon. But we are doing some very high-level engineering. It's basically vertical and horizontal alignments. I call it 10% engineering. Once we get into the 30%, that's preliminary engineering. We are not doing CEQA and NEPA at this time for environmental. We're just doing high-level analysis so that when we go into CEQA and NEPA, we have an idea of what we're going to be getting into. Public engagement has been a huge component at this level because we want to get input on the draft cross sections that we've put out there. And to date, we've received over 1,000 responses to surveys that we've put out there. And then the last thing is, we know that this is going to be an extremely expensive bridge, so we want to get a game plan for how to fund it starting now. So just to go through the 3 alternatives that we've presented to the community and gotten feedback on. First is more of your traditional layout where you just have, sidewalk, bike, cars, transit. This is consistent with what Regional Transit has in their Green Line to the Airport study at this point. We also looked at a narrower cross-section, which combined transit and vehicles in the same lane. We also tried to combine pedestrians and bicyclists in a multi-purpose path. And then finally, we have one that separates all of the modes. The layout could change a little bit. The transit could be on the inside, the cars on the outside, and the whole thing could be flipped. But basically, the same kind of concept of having dedicated space for pedestrians, bicyclists, cars, and transit. Another thing that we were trying to accomplish with this feasibility study is something that we heard loud and clear from the community is they want to see some connection down into the parkway. Right now, you can use the Jaboom Street Bridge from the south, and you can also come in from the Garden Highway on the north. But if it's feasible, we want to create a bridge that also has a connection down to the parkway just for bicycles and pedestrians. Another thing that we're trying to accomplish, and this is one of the main reasons why Dock Engineering was chosen to do this, was when they submitted their proposal, they saw the possibility to actually keep these 2 buildings where the green line goes between. It'd be very tight, but I wanted to challenge them to see if they could actually come up with something, and they did. Both of those buildings are privately owned but currently occupied by the Office of Environmental Service or Emergency Services. So the ability to keep both of those buildings obviously lowers the price tag of this project substantially. What you see off the dotted line in the white dots is the concept of how you save that. The cross sections don't really go into the detail, but basically what we want to do is peel off the majority of the bicyclists and pedestrians before they get to the levee and actually route them onto the Two Rivers Bike Trail, which Adam just spoke about, get them onto Fifth Street, because as most of you probably know, as part of the downtown mobility study, Fifth Street has now been converted to two ways with bicycle facilities as well. And as soon as we connect Fifth Street all the way through the rail yards, you'll have a continuous low stress corridor from the river all the way down to Broadway. And then finally, one of the last issues that we're trying to overcome right now is that the American River Parkway Plan really dictates what can happen in the parkway itself. And right now, the line that they show in their plan only includes light rail, bikes, and pedestrians. So we are currently in the process of doing the analysis so that we can go back to the county and ask them for an amendment to this plan so that we can put cars on the exact same alignment that they're already showing. This is just a timeline for the feasibility study. As you can see, we're almost at the finish line, and I would like to encourage everybody to come out tomorrow evening between 5:30 and 7. We're going to be at MOSAC. We'll have all of the boards of everything that we've presented to the community, all of the changes that we've made based on the community feedback we've heard so far, a lot of good technical analysis if you really want to get into vehicle miles traveled and all that fun environmental stuff. And we'd be happy to answer any questions that anybody has. Thank you.
Thank you. I know we are over time a little bit, so I understand if you have to sneak out. However, I would like to bring up Amy Yang with the City of Sacramento to just briefly discuss the update of the River District specific plan. And then after that, we will have time for Q&A if you want to stick around. And if you do want to leave and get lunch, I wanted to recommend the cafeteria, which is right across the courtyard from here. So please welcome Amy Yang.
The right. Oh. All right. Hi, everyone. Can you guys hear me okay? My name is Amy Yang. I'm an associate planner with the City of Sacramento and the project manager for the River District Specific Plan Update. Thanks for having me here to provide an update on this project. So today, hopefully keep it short, high level. I'm gonna talk very briefly about project overview, current project status, next steps, project timeline, all that good stuff. So a River District specific plan basically is a document that contains policies that guide development in the area. This map shows our study area, so all the policies that we will be developing and updating in our plan have to do with all the area within this orange boundary. The last River District specific plan update was updated in 2011. So it's about time that we reevaluate this plan, especially with all the new activity happening in this area, and see if we can have a more updated vision to guide a more updated future for this area. Some of the issues that we'll be tackling include circulation, land use and placemaking, equity, climate resilience and infrastructure capacity. Obviously, we heard a lot about circulation and transportation projects. We're working closely with other staff members in the city departments to make sure that we're all in alignment, that we're not having conflicting policies and projects going on. Yeah, and so this project really entails evaluating, understanding what kind of place the community wants the River District to be in the next 20 years or so. And as I said earlier, we're coordinating with other city staff and departments and making sure we're in alignment with the things like the 2040 general plan, streets for people, urban forest plan. So all of that needs to speak to each other, and we're working really closely with staff to make sure that it does. So we kicked off the project earlier this year in March. We are currently finalizing our existing conditions report. Once that's finalized, it'll be available for public viewing on our website. We've also been meeting regularly with staff advisors to confirm alignment with ongoing city initiatives. And so that we know that, when it is time to bring forth a proposal or vision and initial concepts to the public, that it's something that we've already figured out, that is something that we can move forward with. We don't want to overpromise. Things that we propose are things that we've already talked with staff with and ensured that it is something that is realistic. Let's see. So we've also done some preliminary outreach, including informational interviews, have talked with several of you in this room, provided some updates to the board, piggybacked off of one of the park play days, which is what's shown on the screen here. Keisha and Sean were kind enough to participate in one of our little activities. And so the next steps include outreach to the public. We'll be bringing our vision, guiding principles, initial concepts to the public to see if this is in alignment with what your vision for the community is. So this is where I talk about schedule. So for those of you that I have been talking to, you may remember that I have mentioned that we're planning to go to bring these concepts to the public starting around January 2025. We are now proposing to shift this a couple months and bringing it closer to summer 2025, so just by a few months. And this is for a couple different reasons. As you may be aware, the city recently adopted the 2040 general plan back in February. And so this is really the document that guides all development, the document that guides all development in the city. All plans need to be consistent with the general plan. And we have been hitting the ground running on implementation for the general plan, including a zoning code update, which will have implications for land use policies within the specific plan update. So there will also be a public review process for the zoning code update starting in 2025. Don't you fret, so please be involved with that. But in terms of the River District specific plan update, we thought it was in the best interest of the project to pause for a couple months so that the zoning code update could make enough progress so that by the time we do restart this project, it will be far along enough that we would have a clear idea of what and how our land use policies should fit in with the general plan implementation actions. So we're hoping that the zoning code update will be far along enough by summer 2025, which is when we're estimating that we will start with our public outreach for vision concepts. So I know I ran through that really fast in the interest of time. That doesn't mean just because we're on a slight pause doesn't mean that we're not accessible. Feel free to reach out to me. Feel free to check out our website. Also encourage folks to sign up for our email list so that when we are ready to get started again, you guys are the first to know. Again, lots of good information on the website, or you can come get one of these brochures from me. My contact information is also on here if you would like that. But thanks again for having me, and I'll be around for questions.
Thank you, Amy. So I did just want to let you know there's a lot of other projects going on in the River District that we don't have time to talk about today, but we did just release our Q3 market report. It is available on our website, riverdistrict.net, under Do Business, Data and Trends. That's how you find the market reports. They include our updated development map, which we update every quarter, all the available properties that we feature in the report, residential market figures. We get some great information from some of our apartment communities like Tract 281. Kirsten here is kind enough to share their numbers with me, as well as new businesses, profiles and events, and then statistics related to our own team here at the River District. So that is available and updated quarterly, and then we print the annual report, which will be presented at the State of the River District 2025. So we do have time for a couple questions. If anybody has anything, we can bring the presenter back up. It doesn't look like we have any questions, so we will adjourn out to the lobby, and then that way you can talk to people out there too. And thank you so much for tuning in, whether you're on Zoom or here in the crowd. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of your day.